What up? Isn't this beautiful? Beautiful. We're on the, I don't know if y'all could hear, I didn't have my speakers, but I'm listening to El Segundo. I left my wallet in El Segundo because that's where we're at. Little tribe called Quest.
Yeah, what's up,
How
guys?
are we doing? We missed you yesterday.
So a little technical difficulties yesterday. So
Well, we were driving in
first
the
we were
middle
in
of
the
the
right
desert.
signal, and then we had a few things come up. So it's good to be back.
Woo.
Yeah, we do watch the clock, but we want to make sure that whenever we're on, we're always mostly on time. So consistency is key for us. So we want to make sure that is something we put as a priority. Now, the cool thing is that we didn't necessarily know what we were going to talk about today, but it kind of occurred to us that there's a lot of things that we started realizing later in the business that we didn't necessarily realize up front, and it's changed the way that we approach our business.
Hello, my name is Lynette. Paul likes to jump straight into training, and I'm eating a gluten-free cookie. If this is the first time that you've ever been with us, welcome. My name is Lynette.
My name is Paul.
And we're crazy.
And we're on a cliff here on the end of the earth.
We've been doing these crazy trainings. We're on episode, I don't know, I lost count now, I think 74. And we were committed to you guys for 90 days. Why? Because we want to stress how important consistency is. We won't jump, I promise. Hi, Cindy. We'll make this a really short episode today, but we didn't have our notes prepared. Paul and I are really, we try to get things prepared for you guys so you have some takeaways and some homework and some really tangible things that you can take away and apply to your business, because we know that your businesses are shifting now that you know about our new 2.0 business methods, because, out with the old stuff, in with the new.
Mr. George Ruiz, how are you?
Hello, George. Thank you for being on. But we want to stress a few things to you, because if Paul and I knew about some of these things in the beginning of our business, we wouldn't have struggled so much. So we're hoping that some of you can really grasp what we're talking about today. I mean, really grasp. Some of you will get it. Most of you won't. Those that are ready to get this information will go, yeah, I see why this is important. And some of you will just go, oh, okay. And you won't understand what we're saying, because there really is no secret to this business. I don't know if many of you saw Tracy O'Malley yesterday. That was a
powerful periscope.
Powerful periscope that she did, because it reiterated the things that we want to talk about you today. If you've got a pen and paper handy, write this down if you want. Otherwise, just make a mental note. And it's the power of reaching down. I know many of you have probably heard of that. You got to reach down. You've got to reach down. Do you want to jump in?
Yeah, but a lot of people don't understand why or what that means. So guys, bottom line is, if we had realized this particular point from day one, we would have been much further ahead already. The power of reaching down is nothing more or less than consciously taking the eyes off of yourself and starting to put them on other people. Guys, I'm telling you, if you catch these couple of points that we're going to cover, I'm sure that any of the 6- and 7-figure earners in our company, as well as anywhere in the industry that we're in, could agree that as soon as you realize that it's not about you, then your business will grow. As soon as you realize that your job is to be a professional encourager, a cheerleader, and I look pretty good with pom-poms, I'm not gonna lie. But seriously, as soon as you realize that will grow your business, that is what will grow your business, then it'll start to move. There's two ways that you're building your business. You're building your front line, I like to call it, you're personally enrolled, and then in order to have a sustainable residual income, you need to build a team. You need to build a deep...
But I want to re-stress this, because some of you are really missing this point, especially if you're brand new, because it's hard for you to see long term and this is the mistake that Paul and I did in the beginning. We thought that our team was just my personally enrolled and their personally enrolled. This goes so far beyond just your 4 PET. If you don't know what I'm speaking of,
Yeah.
we'll get into that in another training. But Paul and I are here in Los Angeles, not because we're here because our personally enrolled someone. We're here probably 250, 300 people deep. Someone here owns several CrossFit gyms, and we're here helping them grow here with Jill Bowman. It's not that, when I say team, I mean team. Your organization is going to grow so massive, you're not even going to be able to keep up.
Yeah.
But we want to also emphasize that you need to know where to spend your time. Know where to spend your time, because there's some people that just don't see the vision.
Guys, Jim Rohn says secret of getting rich is time management, and this applies to our business in the most impactful way, for sure. If you guys can't control your time, spending it where you need to in the essential parts of your business, then there's a lot of spinning wheels. We all know that being busy is not always being productive. Being productive is being productive. So when you think that I'm working all the time, I'm reaching down, I'm doing nice things, but are you investing your time in the right places? And everyone is important on our team, but they need to tell you, and they will through their actions or lack thereof, they'll tell you about how much time that you should be spending with them, because some people, you'll pour into them and pour into them and pour into them, and they won't move, and you've realized that you've been busy and not productive at that point. So
yeah, this is really important, because I just really was speaking to somebody that I love dearly today on the phone, and she's really up in the crazy train. She's having financial difficulties. Things aren't going as smooth as she wants in her life. Paul and I always talk about energy first, technique and mechanics second, and energy and being in alignment with your purpose, law of attraction, taking your focus off of yourself, because if you're having money issues, nobody knows what struggling financially means. When I mean that Paul and I were taking showers in a community center in the beginning of our business, I mean that. We had nothing to work with, but we took the focus off of ourselves and off of our problems and began pouring love and pouring so much inspiration and encouragement onto other people that our life began to shift. And Paul and I always stress to always go back to gratitude if you have no idea what I'm speaking of, because some people think, oh, I understand what gratitude means. You don't.
we haven't talked about this in a minute.
We haven't talked about this in several episodes, actually, about the frequency of what gratitude is. And I want you all, if you haven't gotten this book, Paul and I always talk about the book called The Magic, and it breaks gratitude down to a level you didn't even realize. And once we read that book back in, I guess it was November, December of 2014, that's when really our business began to shift, because we went back to gratitude. And that takes your focus off of your problems, off of yourself, and magic really does begin to happen. So the book is called The Magic by Rhonda Byrne. Beautiful, beautiful book. I wouldn't recommend power reading that one. You probably want to take your time and read that one.
There's like daily assignments and things that the author wants you to really dive into. So power reading that or photo reading it is not the best way to get the most out of the book. However, photo reading it initially will give you a better understanding when you go through the book in a conventional way. So it's not ever a bad thing to do. But the whole point is, when we, and I know this is like an obvious point for some people, but for others it's like a mystery. When we decided to take our eyes off ourselves, it was a conscious decision. It's not a normal habit for human beings to be selfless. It's actually more of a natural thing for humans to be selfish.
God, I was the worst.
It's
really
because
was.
it's just, we're always looking into our best interests. We're always looking out for our own backs, because maybe experiences in the past, or people have screwed us, or we think that this can't be true, that other people are there really for us. So when we come into a business like this, it's like we're looking in the mirror and we're like, okay, I got to take care of number one. But if that's where you're coming from, then guess what? All you're going to have is one person in your business. That's going to be you, and that's not much of a business. As soon as we can turn around and look at the team that's has been there, that we have to work with, whether we personally enroll them or not, then there's not going to be much movement. Now, what she's talking about is if you're investing time in people that want to run, no matter where they come from. In our particular company, we have a binary compensation plan, so there's 2 legs, right? So anybody in the 2 legs, they're going to be on your team. That business volume is going to flow up to your business center, and that's going to have a significant financial impact in your life. So the fact that they may not be personally enrolled by you plays no role in whether you should help them succeed or not. It really is all about their commitment. If you see commitment, if you see movement, if you see growth in this particular part of your tree, you should reach down. You should introduce yourself. You should allow people to connect with you by offering your help, offering the fact that you're there.
And this is really important, why the product page is so important. Remember, Paul and I talk about the product page being the secret sauce of your business, because now you can see who in your downline, who on your team is adding people. Adding people into your product page is what's called an income producing activity. You can see movement. How awesome would it be for you to put yourself in a 3-way chat with your team member and that prospect and just introduce yourself? You don't have to wait for your personally enrolled to put you all in a 3-way chat. I take advantage of all of this. If I see one of my personally enrolled or someone on my team making mass movements, they're adding people into the page, man, I will introduce myself for sure. If Paul and I can help in any way, that's what we're doing. So when we say reach down, I mean reach down, watch and see who's moving in your product page, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. Signal's bad. Sorry about that, guys.
There's a couple more points about this. So when we're talking about reaching down, we're talking about she forces the interaction between not only the person that we see movement from, but also maybe their upline who personally enrolled them, or somebody who's moving in between that should be aware of their passion, their kind of getting it done mentality.
And I really want to emphasize for the leaders out there that it's tough love. You have this control factor that you don't want to put your team or your prospects and introduce them to your upline. That's such a control factor. Don't do that.
For some reason, yeah, some people want it to end at them.
I did that in the beginning. Not that I distrusted Jill or anything like that. I felt like I was control. I was raised in a military family, deep red, and with me being in medical school, it was truly all about me, and I was competing against everyone else. It was just a mentality that I had to shift. But if I enrolled somebody, then I wanted to be the leader and I wanted to control my team. Don't do that. This business is built on a network of beautiful leaders. So please introduce your prospects, introduce your new team members to those above. It's a beautiful thing to connect it, to get everybody connected.
Another reason why is because the reason we need other interactions, other connections, is because we're not always vibrating at the same.
It isn't a thing. Yes.
Yeah, there's no such thing as hierarchy in this business. We're not all vibrating at the same frequency. Maybe your personally enrolled initially was exposed to the business, but they could connect by you, but they could connect with somebody else above you or different on your team. Like, you don't know, like, different personalities. We talk about the color code. Different personalities will kind of clash with one or the other, and they'll resonate with one or the other a lot better. So give yourselves the opportunity to maximize on that, to maximize on those different scenarios. So many different personalities, so many different ways of thinking, so many different stories. What our story might not relate to somebody else, but maybe Jill's story would relate to them, or somebody else on our team would relate to them in the pecking order, I guess, for lack of a better term. But there's truly no hierarchy here. There's definitely no monarchy. If you're gonna roll solo, that's a no-go.
Solo is a no-go.
So it's really just the most community thing you could ever imagine. But you have to sometimes, it's not the best word to use, but force the interaction of a community, kind of scenario. like she says, you know, she doesn't wait for people to introduce her to them. She'll kind of dive in, and people, somebody asked, where do you get this information on how to contact them? There's information in the back office, of course. We typically do everything on social media through Facebook, so we're going to look them up on Facebook and see if their name comes up, see if we can.
I'm friend requesting everybody on my team, and I know some of you love to send me friend requests because you're meeting us on Periscope, but I've got to save some of my friend requests for my own team also, because I think Facebook only allows me like 3,000 friends or something.
Yeah, 5,000.
5,000. Yeah. So I have to save my friends requests for my team. So it's not that I don't love you, I promise. So.
But it's really, you know, this is the most selfless industry if you're doing it right, if you're growing, if you're creating a legacy business, not just something that's going to give you a little bit here and there. If you have that in your mind, if you have that heart space where you become the servant rather than the dictator, then you're going to become something massive, something massive. So, you know, we're trying to think about, you know, creating some tangible action steps for you guys today, because we really love when we hear about messages, or we see messages that you guys send us that your business is moving and you guys are on fire and it's really happening for you. So, you know, today, you know, if it's about reaching down, if it's about connecting with your team, whether they're personally enrolled or not, whether they're in your personally enrolled tree or not, then I think that probably would be a good place to start. You know, look at your tree. Look for the people that have been moving. Invest your time correctly, and it will give you the best return, not only for you, but it'll give a best return for them. They'll create...
No, I don't have a whiteboard out here. I would have brought it.
You're looking to help people create a legacy business that are in your success line. You know, some people say downline, upline. I like to say success line, right? So if you can create leaders in your group, whether they're personally enrolled with you or not.
Somebody has a bonsai tree. Stop it.
If you can create that leadership in other people, then you'll be able to create a legacy business. And this is about something that's going to be around for decades.
And some of you may know what I'm speaking of. Let's say, for instance, when Paul and I first got started, we had what's called a power leg. Oh my God, there was probably 400, 500 people, and I had like 2.
It's just a shared leg. Yeah.
It was really quite lopsided, but that's okay. But I want to emphasize this. You cannot see your business in the future, so if you'll just trust Paul and I, that now my legs are absolutely balanced now, okay? Because you have no idea who your aces are going to be. Because remember, I gave the deck of card analogy. You're looking for your 4 aces, and you have no idea. You keep flipping the deck. You keep flipping the cards in the deck, and eventually your aces will show up. Everybody has aces, but my legs are now balanced. So you can't see your imbalanced legs right now because it's too early in the business. But if you'll just trust Paul and I and trust the leaders before you, it just explodes, and it's a beautiful explosion in your legs. But
that's why it's important to go back and forth, left and right, left and right. Because you don't know. So we want to leave you with some homework today, and actually for the entire weekend, because I need you to do some action steps, right? Not only will you continue to be adding people into your product page, you as the leader, but I want you to start paying attention to your team and who they are adding into the product page. And if you've got the time, try to connect with them in some way. Put yourself in a 3-way chat, and you can begin the 3-way chat if you'd like, and just introduce yourself and just let them know that you and your personally enrolled are business partners and are great friends, and that you're just letting them know that you're here for the prospect if they have any specific questions. Because the product page can get a little overwhelming sometimes, and you know, you want to let them know that you're there for them. So put yourself in a 3-way chat. My team knows that they can always put Paul and I in a 3-way chat if they want their prospect to have specific questions answered. It's a beautiful thing. So try that this weekend. Start putting yourself in more 3-way chats and start introducing yourself to your future team. Okay? It's like she said, you don't know who the gems are, and they might already be there. They just might need a little bit of a hand to see the vision, to know that there's more than just the person that brought them into this new world. There's a whole team the day they jump on.
Good. Casey, perfect. Now I want you to know that Casey Tucker is not in my company. She's actually in another company in the industry, but she's getting so much valuable information from Paul and I's training, and it's amazing. So please collaborate. Don't feel like we just love everybody in the industry. If even if you are prospecting someone and they leave and go to a different company, just bless them, bless and release, and just be thankful that they're still in the industry. Does that make sense? So, Casey Tucker and I have become friends. I think she actually found Paul and I on Periscope. She knows exactly the company that I'm in. I know the company that she's in, and she's rocking her business now. She got her product page, and she's doing amazing. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Good, Casey. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. So please do that over the weekend. Start to get to know your team, even if you did not personally enroll them, or even if they're not in your 4 PETs. I would say start reaching down. Give yourself permission to reach down, introduce yourself, and just say, how can we help? Are there any specific questions that maybe we can guide you to? And watch what happens. Yeah. If you continue to do this for the next 6 months, can you imagine what your team would be like if you just reach down? And sometimes it takes a lot of hard work. Paul and I do that on a daily basis. We're constantly reaching down. You can't reach everybody, but reach as many people as you can by just saying hello. Paul and I just wanted to let you know that we're here for you, and we're all part of the same team. So please do that.
So
reach down and reach wide. Absolutely. Facebook pages, what that means.
But we're going to wrap this up. So we appreciate you guys jumping on with us. Real quick, this is all about other people. It's not about you. It's not about us. So with that in mind, try to be the biggest servant. I know Jill is one of the biggest servants that I've ever met, and her business reflects it. And none of us are perfect, so we kind of got to figure out along the way how to be the best servant. So sometimes we'll make mistakes, and sometimes we'll get it right. And if we can recognize where we get it right and just repeat that, and just do more of it, you'll see your business start to shift. So.
And also ask yourself this question. Many of you don't ask for feedback. It's kind of a scary thing to ask for feedback.
Don't be scared.
Don't be scared. Jack Canfield told us that sometimes you have to ask for feedback. So ask your enrolling sponsor, ask somebody that you trust, where can I work and where can I improve on? Or maybe maybe you're kind of in denial. But I want you to do some self-assessment checks this weekend too, and just go, where can I improve? Because as long as we're improving as human beings and as leaders, then amazing things will begin to happen and shift in our business as well. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And lastly, I know Tracy O'Malley said this on her Periscope last night, but as soon as you can take the eyes off of yourself and put it on other people, it makes it so much easier, because you're not stuck on the crazy train 24/7. You could start kind of clearing up the fog, so to speak, because you're not like in your head anymore. You're trying to help somebody else, and when you're in a giving space, when you're in a place of helping and serving, your problems don't seem as big anymore.
Yep.
Right?
Gratitude will get you off the crazy train faster than anything else.
Yeah.
Gratitude. So regardless of where you're at in your life or in your business, just go back to gratitude and get the book, The Magic. And if you haven't read it, then reread it. And let's get off the crazy train, because we've got some work to do over the next 90 days. We're in week 2, and we're almost going to be wrapping it up. Today's Friday. Yeah. So Sunday we'll kind of wrap up week 2 of 90-day game plan, and then we're going to go into week 3. So please turn back to page 62 and 63 of your 90-day game plan. Hit those bullet points to make sure that you are doing these steps in the product page. Are you teaching about the Ice of Body Challenge? Are you teaching about the Healthy Mind and Body new program? Are you adding people into the page? How many 3-way calls have you done? There's multiple things that you can do. They're called action steps or income driving activities. You need to be doing these things in order for your business to move, right?
Yeah.
So, yes, no more cray-cray choo-choo. None of that stuff. Get off.
So, guys, let's crush this weekend. We'll be back with you tomorrow for sure, but let's put the plan in action today. So let's focus on what we can do today. Okay?
All right. I'm going to go find my wallet in El Segundo. Isn't that such a funny song?
So, as always, we want nothing more than for you guys to have the most extraordinary life. Always free from physical and financial pain.
So join us on this mission.
Because it's a stone cold fact.
We have a better way.
And let's go tell the world.
My name is Pedro. If you need directions, I'll tell you pronto.